Hey friends, you know, when you make these mud flood related videos, you certainly attract people who have a lot of dust in front of their eyes. But so you kind of get some pretty interesting comments back. But okay, I'm going to put my neck out a little bit with this one and say not only is it a mud flood evidence, but it's also probably or possibly what we call Tartarian in its sort of impressiveness. Now, obviously, the head of the fountain has been smashed off, broken off, and isn't there anymore, as you can see. But this fountain would have stood, you know, at least 2 or 3 foot taller than it is currently. It would have needed a significant amount of downward pressure to force the water out of that. So that's the first thing to consider, is what kind of pumping system were they using. But more interestingly for me is that when you look at this, Alexander's been walking around inside of this trough here. They've only just filled it a week or 2 ago, but this trough was 3 foot deep, maybe a little bit more, and was obviously an inner part of this structure. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the key Alexander, if you look at the key here where this tree is, and I suspect that this tree must come after the flood, but if this was your fountain, imagine, and the water is flowing over here and you've got this opening here, the water is just going to flood away, is it not? And what's this? What is this inner ring then going to contain? Not water, surely. So I think that this has to be still overflowing. The water's coming down off the top, filling this area here, and also spilling into this space here, which means there has to be an even grander wall to this, which is all the way out here. Now you can see in evidence we go down a bank and then all the way down there, about a 1.5 meters lower than me, as you can see those people walking by, is a sump, what seems to be a sump, and I assume possibly connected to this waterfall's here, fountain, I should say. So that, I would suggest, is, I can see this outer ring, follow it there past the pram. That tree would have come after the flood. But this area here, now they filled this just the other day with machines and so on, but this area, all this ring here, all this mud here, all of this mud here, which is obviously filling a much larger pool, that I'm basically standing on the outer water ring of this pool, because the water would have flown in around here, the children would have played, you know, that this is, you know, and you go down the slope here, it's hard maybe to pick up, but it's down the slope, there's a step down here. So I've got brickwork here. So what I'm saying is that all of this massive thing was a fountain, a wonderful fountain. It means that the age of this tree is the age of the mud flood, or just post mud flood, because it would have grown in the follow up to that. That's an interesting. I mean, there's a house behind here, a very grand house, which we can't get access to. We're told that it's an 1800s building, but I suspect that this is all pre-mud flood and Tartarian, partly because I think that it's such an impressive fountain for somebody's garden. You know, this is from a grand age, an age that we've been robbed of, that I suspect we may be those people who had our true history stolen, broken, and they're continuing to poison us and to genocide us, all of us, across the plain, in order to continue this dreadful attack on the Tartarians, people that perhaps we all once were. Peace and love.